Previously, Ohma and Yamashita had teamed up together to enter the life and death tournament of the Kengan fight so that Ohma could prove that he was the best of the best fighters. He manages to easily cruise his way through the unofficial Kengan match and secure Yamashita Company as an official Kengan partner, and thus gets to be part of the cruise leading to the tournament. Finally, inside the cruise, Yamashita watches in awe and with tears in his eyes at finally being able to attend such a lavish party. As the businessmen all gather around, discussing the strategies for the tournament, they find that Lihito came in as a president/fighter, meaning he had his own company registered as a Kengan company and had won his way into the fight. This was all thanks to Nogi, whom he now owed around 3 billion yen for all this. That doesn't seem reasonable, does it? Just then, the current chairman, Kawahara, arrives and announces that there will be no fighting amongst the fighters inside the cruise until the battle. To everyone else, this seems like a normal announcement, but this prompts the non-fighters, some other bulky men who had snuck into the ship to cause chaos in the cruise. They all want to influence the fight and start beating up the current fighters to replace them in order to make sure their companies hired them to fight. In return, they demand that the company vote for the person they want as the chairman. A lot of fighters bite the dust to these new men who are all sorts of weird. The cruise finally arrives at the island where the tournament is about to be held, and before any of the battles are conducted, a lottery is drawn so that each company can choose their place and when they want to fight. All they have to do is draw a high number and they can pick a place. Since the chairman's fighter was the scariest, that guy is going to fight last, so the unluckiest guy would be fighting him. Yamashita, for the first time in his life, is lucky and draws a really high number and picks a position very far away from the chairman's fighter, so that if possible, they only met in the final round. He did the whole thing randomly though, so we can't really claim Yamashita to be an intelligent guy either. Later that day, they all gather at the cruise's rooftop where Ohma is attacked by a hooded figure. The figure almost beats the crap out of the person, but suddenly realizes that it was actually a girl. The girl latches onto him and demands that they make babies and marry and stuff like that. Ohma, who has no idea about anything else but fighting, gets flustered and runs away, uncharacteristically like a coward, hence proving that every man has a weakness. The girl turns out to be from a famous clan of mercenary fighters. When she returns back and informs her grandfather of her crush, the man is furious. Even though her own granddaughter was the sus one for latching herself to the guy, the granddad thinks otherwise and wants Ohma eliminated. Seriously, killing a guy who has nothing to do with your underage granddaughter? Do better, man. Teach her some lessons instead, will you? Anyways, the next day, Yamashita heads to the tournament expecting it to be the same old illegal boxing arena, but he could not have been any more wrong. The place is a huge stadium filled with people, and the whole vibe is similar to a World Cup. Not only that, the whole world's leaders have come to watch the game. Even Obama is there. Kengan battles seem to have a deeper root than any other sport in the world. The first match is going to be held between Nishihonji Enterprises and a non-copyright version of Bob's Burgers called Boss Burgers. The owner of Boss Burgers, who is a clown, literally, has hired one of the best fighters in America named Adam Dudley. The guy has won so many matches with just one hit that it felt he had no one left to beat, until he discovered the Kengan games, and here too, the man had won 21 matches straight. For Nishihonji Enterprises, a young jiu-jitsu master named Imai Cosmo, also known as the King of Stranglers, is sent for battle. After a hot anime lady announces the two fighters, the battle begins. Cosmo immediately takes advantage of his own small stature and barrages Adam with tons of attacks left and right, and it looks like he is winning, but he is not. Adam smiles and delivers one blow to the boy, who, despite blocking it, is thrown away. The power of the punch is so huge that Cosmo bounces on the floor as he lands. Despite the hit, the boy gets up and the two launch at each other with their final attacks. Even with his speed, Cosmo cannot land the blow, and instead takes the full force of Adam's punch to his face. Adam picks him up again and lands another incredibly powerful blow. Once he is back on the ground, he continues hitting him in the head. The referee then interferes and stops the match. Adam tries to argue, but realizes he is mildly hallucinating. Adam then sees himself unconscious in a triangle choke. The whole time, Adam was actually dreaming. He had already lost. Nishihonji Enterprises are declared the first winner. The next match is between Nintendo and Wakasa Life Insurance. For representing Nintendo, a fighter from the beautiful country of Nepal named Haru is sent. The man was an incredibly powerful guy and had a really great physique earlier, but once he started to work for Nintendo in Japan, he had gone fat and bulky and his soul had corrupted. For Wakasa Insurance Company, an ex-cop named Okoye comes to the battlefield. The man is being aided by his assistant Shunka, who analyzes every bit of the opponent's moves and sends him a report. The battle begins, and Okoye's fitness plays a great impact on his earlier dominance, and Haru cannot seem to land even a single blow on the man. Attack after attack, and Haru finds it difficult to counter the ex-cop's blows. Shunka's data seems to be working, but suddenly Haru snaps. His breathing patterns change as he remembers that without his help, his village can no longer get the resources that Nintendo is providing. It's apparent that, although money might have corrupted him, the man still had the original Himalayan fighting spirit inside him. Okoye tries to kick the weakened knee again, but it has no effect and Haruo sends Okoye flying across the arena. Shunka asks Okoye to last a few more minutes so she can finish reanalyzing Haruo, but he warns her they don't have much time left. As the battle spirit pushes out the poison of greed, Haruo's speed continues to increase and he seems to be regaining his control over the match. However, just as Ayoma is about to relaunch his counter at Haru, the huge man's legs give in and he feels incredible pain. The guy had been pushing himself for so long, but now he was at his limits and could go no further. This has probably more to do with his obesity rather than the battle, but either way, Haru cannot continue. This gives Okoye an opening, and he kicks Haruo across the face. Okoye is declared the winner. Elsewhere, the match between Undermount Inc., Kenzo's company, and the Centauri Company is about to begin, and Kenzo is watching the whole thing patiently from his room. Outside, some assassins from the Kure family, that Undermount Inc. has hired for the fight, have been keeping an eye on Kenzo with a literal sniper pointed at the guy's window for some reason. Rayan, the fighter representing Undermount Inc., however, is late to arrive at the arena because he is somewhere in the urinal picking up a fight with Lihito. When the guy finally arrives at the arena, he is soaked in blood, but worry not, his face still has the creepy smile, so he probably won the fight against Lihito. Rayan is pitched against Mokichi Robinson, the exterminating vicar representing Centauri. The opponent has a cool name, but does he have a good fight in him? Let's see. As soon as the referee starts the match, Rayan goes in for a powerful kick, but Mokichi catches his leg. At the same time, Rayan catches a punch from Mokichi. It seems the two are perfectly matched and the battle will take a couple of episodes to finish. Neither of the fighters gives even an inch of space to their opponent, and it looks very evenly matched. Members of the Kure family wonder why Rayan is just playing around, but it's apparent that Mokichi isn't using his full power yet either. Finding no space, Rayan tries to be cheeky and throws the blood from his body onto his opponent's eyes, temporarily blinding him. However, when Rayan goes in for a punch, his attack is stopped midway. Mokichi then lands a powerful kick against Rayan's head and then lands another powerful punch to Rayan's face and chest, dodging all of Rayan's attacks during the process. When Rayan goes for a punch, Mokichi grabs him and slams him onto the ground on his head. Rayan seems to have been defeated, and Mokichi starts to move away, declaring his victory. To the surprise of everyone, Rayan then gets back up and starts to use the Kure clan's secret technique, Release, which turns him into a purplish color for some reason. But we will not argue the scientific reason for it. The guy then delivers a punch that sends Mokichi flying. Soon, Mokichi is helpless against the onslaught of attacks and is put into a chokehold. For a brief moment, Mokichi goes into a flashback and tries to channel his Naruto energy and gain power from his friend and family's memories, but not every anime has a sentimental aspect to it. And even though the guy is able to release himself from the chokehold, he's grabbed by the neck by Rayan and killed. Rayan and Undermount Inc. are victorious. Finally, Ohma and Yamashita Corporation's battle has arrived. As Ohma tries out the new shoes that Yamashita had gotten for him, Yamashita tells the lad to withdraw if he ever felt like his life was in danger. Ohma, however, is confident that he will win and asks for meat as his victory meal before leaving. Yamashita Corporation is actually pitted against Panasonic, and before the match, the owner of Panasonic meets up with Yamashita and asks for a little side bet on the match as well. The owner offers Yamashita 10 TVs as a wager, whereas Yamashita wagers in the price of those 10 TVs. He already has 100 million debt to Nogi, so 10 TVs would not be such an issue. When the man leaves though, Akiyama explains 10 TVs actually meant 10% of the company. So if Ohma lost, he owed Panasonic around 200 billion yen. Yamashita almost had a heart attack at this, but he still has faith that Ohma would win. For the battle, Ohma is pitted against a weird-looking and weird-walking fighter named Inabaryo, the Black Phantom. As soon as the battle begins, Ohma takes the upper hand and delivers blows after blows, which brings Yamashita back to his senses. Yamashita loudly proclaims in the crowd that Ohma is stronger and will easily finish Ryo after Ohma knocks him to the ground. Ohma runs towards him, but Inaba's movements change and he begins circling Tokita, leaving behind afterimages. Ohma tries to hit Inaba, but is only hitting the afterimages. Inaba adopts a hit-and-run technique to get in reliable damage over time. Ohma starts making a clicking sound with his mouth. Inaba then goes in for another strike, but Tokita is able to land a heavy blow to his face, sending him flying. Ohma starts using the Nico style, making quick movements and leaving behind afterimages of his own. He instructs Inaba to move on to his next trick, as that won't work anymore, as he lands several hits on Inaba. Ohma then lands an incredibly powerful hit on Inaba's stomach, causing him to cough up blood. Ohma tries to deliver the final kick, but Inabe is using his sentient hair to grab hold of him. The hair is as strong as a metal chain, and Ohma finds it hard to break through. Instead, he strengthens his body to reduce the impact of the incoming attacks instead. Inabe tries taking control and even twirls his opponent around, warped in his hair, but soon enough, as predicted, Ohma breaks free. Why? Because he is the main character. Ohma then lands a powerful punch, breaking one of Inaba's fingers, and follows it up with a direct hit to the face, continuing to hit him, causing him to crack his skull and break his jaw from an uppercut. He then hits all of Inaba's major organs. Inabe finally passes out, giving the other the win. Later, when the Panasonic president comes to deliver the 10% share to Yamashita, however, Ohma intervenes and refuses the shares. His alpha male mentality costs Yamashita 286 billion. That's right, kids, being beta isn't that bad sometimes. Finally, the rest of the battles start rolling in. The battle between Murobuchi Gozo, the Immeasurable, representing United Clothing, and Wakatsuki Takeshi, Wild Tiger, representing Furumi Pharma begins, and it's a quick one with Takeshi coming out as the winner. The battle between Sawada Keizaburo, the Bird of Darkness, representing Murder Music, and Julius Reinhold, the Monster, representing Toyo Electric Power Company, ends anticlimactically, as Murder Music forfeits the game before it even begins. The final battle of this season between Muteba Gizenga, the Genocider, representing Iwami Heavy Industries, and Meguro Masaki, the Crying Man, representing Umiichi Securities, starts, and it gets a whole lot sus than we might have expected it to be. Masaki turns out to be an actual masochist and is more and more excited the more hurt he is. Muteba goes as far as crushing the man's groin, but this only excites Masaki more. Is there anything more sus than this? Probably not. In response, Masaki blinds Muteba's eyes, but, plot twist, Muteba was already blind from his childhood, and all that eye gouging was for nothing. Those were probably goat eyes that he had implanted anyway. Finally, Muteba takes the upper hand and manages to win the match, bringing an end to Season 1 of this series. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks for watching! Thanks for watching! Thanks for watching!